Right, we had a couple of hidden 10mm, so there was one here, there was a plastic trim here and just one in there. Just like I said, to try and get these off is a nightmare, but this now, apart from the connection for the indicator, should be off. So there we go. Now we can see just how badly it doesn't look bent, but there must be something bent in that bracket because it just doesn't line up on the wing properly. So I'll get the new wing on there and we'll see how good it lines up.
This is the new merch that's coming out, and you better get it today because it'll almost be sold out. Please support my daddy with new merch. All the links will be down below in this description below, so you can get this amazing, fantastic cup that has ever been born in the cup history.
Now it does look good. It's not putting pressure on this like it was before. I managed to well, actually I had to push the bracket from here outwards and it seems to be okay. But before I put that on properly, well, you can never put it on properly, you always have to just put a few bolts on. I want to get the other bonnet on because I'm lined up against that bonnet. So as long as I get the bonnet lined up with this, like I said, the front hasn't moved. The front cross member, yes, is damaged, but the actual chassis legs of the front, that hasn't moved at all. I could put the bumper back on and there'd be no issues with any alignment issues, even though that is bent, because the legs aren't bent. Obviously I'm going to replace that, but it just gives you an idea. So once I get just a couple of 10mm, get that off and get the new one on, and then I can start lining it all up. Not going to show it all on camera because it just takes forever, you know, because you can see the adjustments you can have in these is quite a lot. So this can go up and down, in and out quite a lot any further to get all the lines because I need the bonnet to sit straight before I can line it up against there. That at the minute is sitting completely in the wrong place. So I've been told that I'm getting these tomorrow. So I'm going to do a few other little bits off camera. Just little tidying bits up and stuff, and then once that, because you can see it's just way too high, it's hitting that rubber down there, it's just way too high. Once I actually get that sitting down properly, I can then start worrying about all my lines and absolutely everything. The radiator is going to be in properly. The only thing I'd have left to do is put a new cross member on and, you know, fit the lights and fit the bumpers and obviously spray it. So it's getting there, it really is. Right, finally got the new clock spring or airbag squib, whatever you want to call it. What I need to do is take off this. It's a T50, and what's the easiest way to do it is lock the steering, and then you don't have to hold the steering and turn the nut at the same time. If you have the key in the ignition, you're trying to have to hold the steering wheel and turn it at the same time. You're with two people, it's easier, but on your own, lock the steering. Don't put too much pressure on it. Obviously, if you have to put huge bars on it, there's an issue, so don't do that because you'll damage the steering. But as long as just normal pressure, you should be fine. Right, okay, the steering wheel's got a master spline, so it can only go on one way, so don't worry about that. We had to take off the actual speedo, or sorry, the rev counter, which is a 10mm bolt there and one little wire. That allows the top cover to come off. We can get the bottom cover to come off because we need this to come out. Then all is a couple of different clips at the back. Then the indicator and the light stop, they just come out. So all you do with that is there's two tabs either side, one there and one in there. Pull them tabs together and see, where are they? These tabs here, look. Pull them tabs together and the whole unit just slides out, because we don't get this with the new one, we just get the main part there. Right, here is our new one, and the way to take it off the car is this little clamp here. There's a little torque bolt that goes through. It's missing on this one, but I've got it down there, the silver one, off our other one, and that just clamps it down on here. And you can see this is the bit we're missing, and all that should happen is that clips in and clips out. But on the other one, you can see it just all melted. Still don't know why. It's not because of the airbag. I really don't think. I've replaced hundreds of airbags and never once seen that because an airbag's gone off. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We've got the new one now, and I'm just gonna clip it all back in, and then put the steering wheel back on, and hopefully we should have no more airbag light, and then the airbag system is done. Right, another thing you need to do, which is very important, is make sure you've got this in the middle. So completely completely screw this one way, and then count how many times it goes the other way until it's locked. In this case it was 6, so I've turned it 3 turns, so I know this is now in the middle, so when you turn the wheel it's not going to break any of the connections inside and then make the airbag not work, because the airbag light will come back on and you just don't want that. So there we go, that is very important. Also, be very careful to line the steering wheel up. You can see these little slots inside the clock spring which line up with the tabs on the steering wheel, so make sure you get that, because otherwise you'll put the bolt in and you'll break all that and it'll be no good. Now what I like to do is, just before I put the airbag on, is I like to start the car, make sure you can fully lock it, it's not getting hard, it's not creaking, it's not doing anything. Now be careful when you do that, you want to do that quite slowly. Also, to make sure the wipers work, make sure the lights work, make sure everything works that it should do, because it's easier to take the steering wheel back off and fix it now than it is when you get everything back together. So there, yeah. We'll now disconnect it, turn the lights off. Did I turn the lights on? Which side are the lights? Oh, the lights are off. Oh, it's got a timer delay. Right, so now what we need to do is put the airbag back on. So, can I do this one-handed? I don't know. Maybe not. Push that in and then push that in. Why is that not going in? There we go. And now just push that in. There we go. Now what I got to do is see if the car... No, I am just going to get out. Even though I know it's not going to go off. But you never know. What's wrong with that key? Keeps jamming. Hey! Has the airbag light gone off? Hey! Airbag light has gone off. So we can reset it by the computer, but we don't need to, as you can see. So now the airbag system in this car is completely and utterly done. Great news. Absolutely great. Right, so my new bits have come, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the whole front of this off again, even though that's just resting there. Take the radiator out because we need to flush that. I was just making sure that the radiator wasn't, there was no leaks or anything like that. Then what I'm going to do is I've got the new supports here and here. Still haven't got the new cross member, but once I put these new supports in, as long as they fit, then I know the cross member is at the right point. And then we can always replace that later. If they don't fit, then I know the cross member, is still pushed in and we can work on that. But even once all this is in, I can replace the cross member at a later stage. It's not a big deal. Right, good news. That has fitted lovely. I know we still got damage here, but now I know, look, it's all lined up. It's all lined up in there. It's all lined up there. It's all lined up lovely. So I know at least this is pulled out far enough. Still need to replace that, but we know it's in the right position because this was off the car that we got all the second-hand parts. I just have to try and release the bonnet catch because that's the old one, which, as you can see, is all kind of twisted. It was salvageable, but at least with this new panel, I know that this corner here is perfectly square like it should be, because that just fitted lovely. Now what we need to do is see if this one's the same, because this is the one that really got the damage. So it looks to be more or less the same place, but I won't know until I actually take it all apart. We've got a bit more work to do with this side. You can see, look at the bend that's in the one we took off. This is what it should look like. And when I try and put this on, you can see, look, we're miles out. This won't go in any further because this is still all pushed in. So what I'm going to do is, just like I did on the beginning of the video, I'm just going to put the van to it and I'm just going to pull this out a little bit more just to get it a lot better. Then again, we can still see, look, there's no chassis damage, which is good, but I get this a little bit better to allow me to fit that panel on. Then at least I can put the front on, I can line up the bonnet, I can do everything. This would be in the right place, it's just damaged, which we will replace later, but at least it will be in the right place, which will allow me to line everything up. If both of these panels go in, I know 100% the two corners are absolutely square and true, because these panels that haven't been damaged will fit. Yes, the bar is damaged, but the car would be square. So it means I can set bumpers, bonnets, headlights, I can set everything in, get everything lined up, and then we can replace this afterwards. As you can see, look, I've got it on. The bolt holes line up with the original bolt holes on the other car. Now I know that's not really, you can't go off that, but it's kind of a good thing. This bolt hole lines up. This one obviously doesn't because it's all pushed in, but it is actually straight to the bolt, if that makes sense. If this was pushed out, that would line up perfectly. So I now know, apart from this being damaged, but I now know the front of the car has to be square because them two panels are fitted in lovely. This is kind of the test to see how these fit in. Oh, look at that. Hold on. Ooh, try and do this one-handed. It's not easy. Let me do this two-handed, but I think it, oh yeah, I didn't get it past there. Let me do this off camera and I'll show you. That's great news. I have to do a few little tweaks. I have to tweak the panel going down because that's what got caved in, but that's very easy. I can tweak that by hand. Little bit of a tweak there, but that's fitted lovely. So what this now means I can do is try and get the bonnet release catch off, which is quite difficult without breaking it. Then I can solder the radiator wires properly, put the radiator back on, fill it full of antifreeze, and put this slam panel on the front and line up my bumpers, line up my headlights, line up absolutely everything. And we're just going to have to wait until, I'm really struggling. The problem is I'm really struggling to get that part, just cannot get one. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. At least I can do all that. Worst case scenario, I can even paint it, you know, all the bumpers, everything, and come back to this at a later stage. Worst case scenario. I don't want to go down that route if I can avoid it, but if I have to, that's what I have to do. Also, when I was pulling this back and pulling this out, make sure you disconnect the airbag module because you don't want your airbags coming out. So that's very important. Right, repaired the wires for the fan, used vulcanized tape, soldered joints, liquid electrical tape. I used a Hobby Tools lithium soldering iron, which is brilliant. To do that, I am going to be doing a separate video on how to do that, but vulcanizing tape and stuff like that is just good stuff. So that's all ready to go. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the radiator back in. Not going to show that because I've done that before. Put the radiator back in, put the cross panel on, the headlights, get everything so I can line everything up, put the bumper on just so I know that everything is properly in line. Right, we got some excellent news. All the bolts have lined up, even the ones in here, absolutely perfect. Oh, I've got to tighten that one. Absolutely perfectly. Even the radiator mounts, the mount here that goes on to the ECU, that all lines up perfectly, and it fell in. So we definitely know, obviously apart from the damage there, that the car is straight. So what I got to do now is I'm going to put to do the radiator and stuff, and then I'm going to start seeing how bad the bonnet is off. But before I do that, I need to put the headlights in, so I need to line up the bonnet and the headlights. I'll show you kind of some of it. It's just a case of moving the bolt, sliding the bonnet up and down, moving the wing, because this wing isn't even attached properly, so it's just going to be awkward like that. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of messing, but once I get there I'll show you what it looks like. Right, we're getting there. I'm just letting the whole system bleed. Slight little issue with this headlight which we'll have to adjust, but this bonnet line here is not bad. This wing isn't on properly, but as you can see, it's really close compared to the side. This headlight is good. The bonnet is closing, you know, perfect as well, so that's good. But when I lined up, even, I can't remember if we're going to do it in the beginning of this video or another video, but when I lined up the bonnet originally, it was good. I lined it up before I put the headlights, that was good, but then when you put the headlights in, you have to readjust. Now I'm going to just put the bumper on just in place, and I'm going to motorway have to adjust everything again when the bumper is on, but I won't know yet. But we are close. We are close for finishing the actual crash repair, getting onto bodywork, you know, painting, doing this front panel and stuff like that. So we're close. We're close. Right, the front bumper is on. It's not a GT bumper, but I couldn't find one anywhere. Just couldn't find one. I can hopefully still put the GT spotlights on it. It's just the front here is slightly different. Looks to be, well, it makes it look like there's a bit of a spoiler on it, even though there kind of isn't. It's just the bottom setup. But good news so far is now this is just clipped into place. That wing still isn't even bolted in properly. I've just literally clipped this on. But the good news is all these bolt holes have lined up perfectly. Look. This headlight still needs a bit of adjusting. You can see it kind of needs to come up a little bit and kind of go out there a little bit compared to that one. You can see there is a big lip on the bumper. That's just the way these are. The headlight kind of sinks into the bumper. So that bit's okay. It's just where you see this bit of a gap isn't okay, and you see this bit of a gap isn't okay. But that literally just needs tweaking like that, which hopefully shouldn't be a big deal. So let's see what the bonnet looks like. Yeah, that's good. Again, that headlight, that's not good. That's good. This is how it's supposed to be. And there is a big huge gap here, believe it or not, because that's how you get to the bonnet catch. So that little gap is well, not little gap, it's a bloody huge gap. But look at that. It's looking more like a car every second now. So yeah, that's actually fitted well. It's just the headlight now. Just the headlight to get it to the same as the other one. You can see the gap at the top and just the gap there, which is slightly wrong. And that's it then. Right, we're also repairing and spraying the rear tailgate or boot. Even though this wasn't damaged in the accident, it was damaged a long time ago. But believe it or not, a professional garage repaired this. Look at that. Look at it. They repaired that. Can you believe that? So I now have to repair that properly, as well as the front. So as you can see, we have our brand new windscreen. So our brand new windscreen is in, all the panels are fitting. There's a little bit of tweaking I have to do, but I'm now going to be painting this and putting the new cross member in.